when you're styling, material UI, you can use style components, right? One of the ways that people normally style material UI um, projects is by using style components, and this is one of the ways to write style components. There are like two variations of this. This is like one variation. So let me just explain what you're seeing here. So this is the name. So I just explained that style component is basically JSS. JSS is JavaScript style sheets. All right, it allows you to use JavaScript to describe styles. Right, and with JSS you can write CSS as JavaScript objects and use them as class names in element or components. So here it is used. You're writing basically JavaScript styling as a component, as a React component. So if you look at how it's used here, it's basically used like a React component. All right. So what you're doing is that you are saying, I want this default slider. This slider is a material UI component. I want to style this default slider and I want to apply this styling to it. All right, and you would have this here. If I try to go to the material UI documentation and see, let me increase this for you and see how they use it here. So this is like the basic theming for material UI. Now these guys are trying to style a div. Now from the other explanation I gave from this, you can see that they're trying to style a slider, so you can add style into sliders. But looking at the way it's used here in the material UI documentation, you can see that they're styling a div. All right, so you can style a div. You can style any HTML element that you want. You can also use the theme. So that's why I said there were like two variations. This is the second variation using the theme. And using the theme, you use theme.palette.primary.contrast.text. Basically, you're trying to access what's in the theme, which is basically here theme.palette.primary.contrast.text. That's really what they're doing here. Nothing serious, nothing deep. All right. I'm glad that everything's on the same page that you see it. And like I said, you use this as a component. So JSS, you either use JSS as a class name or a component, but here it's being used as a component. So yeah, so because you're styling a div, you basically use it how you're going to use a div. All right, here they were styling a slider, which is still the default slider, but now they decided to style this and use it like this. So that's one way, of styling the material UI. The other way of styling the material UI is using the SX prop. So the SX prop is just another way of styling material UI. It's like what you would call inline styling. Inline styling when you're styling with your HTML and CSS. All right, but this allows you to do some certain things that the inline styling would not generally allow you to do. So for example, if you're going to add a styling to this box elements, right, you're going to say BG color, which is a short form of background color, right? You could do shorthands in some sense, or in some cases here, right? CP means padding, right? You do not necessarily need to put pixel values. You know that it's pixel values and you convert it appropriately. Sometimes you have to do that, sometimes you don't have to do that, especially when you're working with SX prop, right? So you could style things directly using SX prop, right? So these are the two common ways. You could also use, the primary, CSS styling, where you have your CSS files or SAS files and import it to your React, components. That also works. So for the person asking the question of how do you style React components, I believe that helps you. Does that answer your question, Ada?
Yes, it does.
All right. Yeah. So Sunday, how was the project for you?
Fine.
Okay. Did you find it challenging? What exactly? How did it go?
Yes, the challenges is what I can handle, but this one I'm having is light.
Okay.
Never very tough hand.
Okay. I get that. Sorry about that. But were you able to do anything tangible? Maybe something you could deploy?
Yes.
Okay, please send your link to this chat and to the group chat so I can view it.
When I work on it, right?
Yeah. Since you've not been able to deploy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
My system is down, I just went to go and charge my phone so that I'll be able to join the meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Sunday is not here. Okay.
Yeah.
Is where? Is here?
This is Sunday.
Where?
I'm talking about Anthony.
Sorry, Anthony. Oh my God. Jeez. Sorry, please don't be afraid. And you guys are laughing at me. Please, I beg.
Sorry.
Sorry, Anthony. Sheila, how has the project been for you? Give me a rundown.
I I have tried to do the main page. Unfortunately, I am limited by time because I have the project is quite demanding and I have limited access to a desktop because I can't carry it back home. And
Of course.
so I only get to work on the project when I am done with the work. I have the workload, and then I'm supposed to like squeeze in some time and do the project. It's a bit of a struggle. I am getting things wrong and right. I designed most of the components. Unfortunately, my page was looking very weird and it needs some styling. So I am stuck around there and creating the graph. That is what is pending. I just hope tomorrow I'll be able to complete it and maybe deploy.
So tomorrow you'll be able to complete and deploy it. Is that your final word? Is that your
Hope.
final answer?
I want to hope.
50-50 or call a friend?
It's a 50-10. No,
Okay.
it's a 90-10 because
Okay.
I am not sure of what the day will be like tomorrow. If I get a chance to go through it, I will. If I don't, I will be able to complete it by Friday. Let's just give it Friday. Yes, by
All
Friday
right.
I'll be. Yes.
All right. Ivy, how was the project for you?
Hi. It was like, I'm going to use Ada's words. It stretched me. I now got to understand the monster you selector, the monster map.
Same monster.
Yeah, I'm going to call them monster for now. Like I was so happy understanding your selector map. And yeah, one thing I'd say is challenging. I don't know why you said not to use the word hard. Okay. I don't know why it's relatively that word. I use responsiveness. I have tried using the Tailwind small, large, and MD like specifications to try and push your screen to fit to a certain size. I've tried to use RAM, I've tried to use percentages, but anytime I touch anything, it's all messed up. So one thing I'd say, responsiveness is a big challenge to me, but I'm still struggling. But yeah, this project has really pushed me, and also like it has really given me confidence to know that it's really possible. I've even gone back to everything else we've been doing from the start, and I want to start over and see what I can do now that I am now at least confident enough. And of course, I did post for the first time on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Come on, everyone, give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. That's
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. So the thing with Tailwind, yeah, not Tailwind UI. But by the way, this is where you can get some. This is basically okay. Tailwind. CSS. So, how I work with Tailwind is, Tailwind is basically.
Sorry, sir. Your screen is not displayed.
Oh god, please you guys should always be telling me. I'm sorry about that. There's a box on my screen, so it feels like I don't know if you guys can see this red line. Can you see the red line?
Red line. Yes.
Yeah, so it makes me feel like my screen is. I'm sharing my screen. Sorry. So if you can't see my screen, just let me know. So Tailwind is basically utility class based way of styling your CSS, right? And one thing, or the way I like to work with responsiveness in Tailwind is to start building from the mobile screens up. That's one way to make your life a whole lot easier. That's not like the only way. It's not set in stone, but I mean, going from that route, you would find out that it's a whole lot easier to build things. Okay, so let me see. There's a way to. Obviously, you should not have to get it set up, so that's not an issue. Responsiveness. Yeah, so basically SMMD. So you start building from your mobile screen. So let me see. Let me see. What's my extension again? Yeah, mobile simulator. I use mobile simulator when I want to design stuff, or when I want to see how things look. Okay, let's go back here. So if I click on mobile simulator, I'm going to see how it looks on the mobile screen. The reason why I like this because I get the emulator here of this thing, right? But that's not an issue. You can easily just, I'm sure you guys know what this is. Inspect, right click inspect, come to click this button, device emulation, you basically get your mobile screens, right? So I start with building from mobile screens, then increase it. Then I don't use pixel values, I use rem values, so that it is responsive across screen sizes. Even at that, what's it called now? Even at that, you still have to give like different values for larger screens, like what we have here. So when I say design for mobile screens up, it means that your first values, your first measurements are going to be from your mobile screens, right? So basically this W width 19 rem, right? You know what, this is fixed 19 rem. It means that this is how we're going to look on mobile screen. Like the minimum, how this is read, is that the minimum width on all screens is 19 rem, except you want to increase, going on to different screens. Then you can now start adding your XL, which is for the bigger screen, and MD and LG and all of that. So I would say, one way to get better with responsive design is to start with your mobile screens. Ensure that your mobile screens look good, and I've already explained how you would go about that. You would get to the inspect element and get to the mobile device emulator for that. Okay, does that help?
Yeah, it does.
All right, so apart from responsiveness, is there any other thing that you want me to touch on?
Not really. I'm trying to remember something I'll say before the meeting ends.
All right, this is your code. This is your code. So I'm seeing components. Let me see your components. Side card. Okay, it's not bad. So when I'm looking at your code, I'm just looking at structure. So I have some things to say actually about your project. I don't think this is a chart. This is not a chart, is it?
No, it's not. I was working on a Flowbyte chart, but I could not deliver it on time. So once I will deliver tomorrow with now the real chart.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, that's fine. Then I wanted, because I was trying to switch, this between this and this. Also, I told you to do something to measure or to put your work with the Figma prototype side by side, so you can see discrepancies, right? What the whole essence of this project is to test three things majorly: test your design skills, test your design to implementation skills, and test using Redux, and all of that in your projects. So if you notice how we've been building, we don't just start from the top. I didn't just give you a high level project. We've been going smaller, adding little complexities as the days go by. So yeah, Ada.
Okay, I think I wanted to mention something about the graph, but I already booked a session with Ivy because I've been struggling with this graph for like 2 days or more. Yeah.
Why are you struggling?
To make it look exactly like what's in the image or the Figma design, I'm not able to wrap my head around it because I want the colored parts, the blue parts, to correspond with the values on the y-axis, and then have the y-axis have the full bars that are gray. But somehow I can't seem to figure it out with chat. James,
Did you try another? Did you try another chatting library?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So one feedback I have for Ivy, I'd suggest that you take all of these things into different components. Render range, under render range. But I don't know why you have render range 1 and 2. I don't know what that is. That is not how to name your components because it's not descriptive enough. Render table is fine. We know you're rendering a table. This should be in separate components because I was wondering why you didn't have what's the word now? Why is this repeated over and over again? This is Ojoro work. Ivy, do you know what Ojoro is?
No, I don't.
Sunday.
Okay.
Please explain what Ojoro is to Ivy.
Ojoro. Is that not cheat?
Most likely. I don't know what this is, but why? I don't know why is it duplicated. Please, Ivy, come and clear the air. Why is it duplicated?
That's my graph, and the fact when we were in a rush to submit, I had to find a way to come up with exactly what is in the Figma. So I used divs But now I know better. I know better. I know I can use a library like Flowbyte, and I've seen how I can implement it. Please don't sacrifice me for that.
All right, I'll try my best not to. So secondly, I would not exactly encourage using pixel values. I'd encourage you to use REM. And I told you that there is a pixel to REM converter on your VS Code extension, so you could download the extension and use that. And you use, I think it's Alt Z or something. When you put your cursor on it, it transforms it to REM. So you could, write your pixel values, but you convert it to REM when you want to make any deployments. All right, so it gets so. The reason why you need to convert to REM is because some people. Let me show you. Where is that scale? Yeah, some people like to have their stuff on 150, like very large, like this. Do you understand? If I go back to your project,
Which one is?
it's not visible again. It's visible now.
Yes.
It's visible.
Okay, you can see. Okay, the formation is okay.
Can you see what just happened, Ivy?
Yeah. Rather.
The responsiveness.
Yeah, that is another thing, and probably, yeah, probably not like certainly, but probably it might not be this bad. It will also be bad, but it might not be this bad if you use REM values. It might. It's possible that it might not even change, but it might not be this bad if you use REM values. To get so.
I used REM on every other thing apart from text.
Every other thing, like the size of this guy.
Yeah, like the divs. I was either using percentage or REM.
Did you like at this? Let me go back.
For the text is where I used pixels, I think, if I remember well.
Okay. The text looks. Let me go back to 100. Text looks fine to me. I don't know, but anyway, let me go back. So, did you? What's it called now? Do you know what flex flow is?
Flex wrap.
Yeah, flex wrap. Yeah, like you can use it interchangeably actually. Flex
yeah,
wrap.
I also used flex wrap.
Did you give this a max width?
I give it a screen width. Was it screen width if I remember well?
Okay, let me see. No, it's not. It's supposed to flex. It's supposed to go down if it actually responds well. So this is something you also have to think about, right? So some people like to have theirs in 100%, which is very small. Let me go back to 100, and you will see like it looks like this. Right, but personally for me, what was it on? Was it 125? Yeah, this is how I like to have mine. All right, that's that. Let's go back. So yeah, I would love if you had this in separate files, because this is going to get longer and longer and longer and longer. Look at how long your file is, right? So I was wondering why, when you come to your source components, your component, and I always saw that there are two components here. That's why I was surprised. There are supposed to be a whole lot more components. A component is basically a section, a reusable section of your UI. That's basically what the component is. Something you could pass props to change values or change stylings. That's basically what the component is. So I'd love if all of this that we have here are separated into different components. Okay, that would have made this code a whole lot cleaner. But I think it's still fine in some sense. But you get what I mean. So you're rendering this customers.map. Okay, this is how you're doing it. I see that you use this pattern a lot actually. So this is a function or not a component. I think it should be a component. I mean, you can still do this way, but I think it should be a component. I'm glad you now know how to use your selector. All right, that's a win. Let's go back to Redux. Let's see your features. So first off, I'm seeing a discrepancy in your naming convention. First and foremost, like I said, please can you explain to me what range and range 2 is? Because I've seen this in your dashboard page. What is range and range 2 based on this component? Is it this and this?
That was it.
Okay, it is not descriptive enough. Using numbers are not exactly descriptive. You can basically just call this weakest range, strongest range. Something like that will work. At least that one we know that there are two distinct things. But using numbers I wouldn't encourage that. Also, if you're going to use, that was something I noticed here. If you're going to use small letters all throughout. If you're going to use camel casing, use camel casing throughout. I can see that your name, that's the first time I noticed when I came to this project, that this was in capital letters, DD, right? And I'm like, okay, I should expect everything else here to be capital letter. But when I came here, I started seeing that they were small letters. I would,
Sorry for interrupting. Please repeat that.
okay. What I'm just trying to point out is that if you're going to use a naming convention, a naming structure, ensure that it's consistent across the application. All right, let's go to, give me a minute.
Even the name of the application, for example, dynamic dashboard.
Doesn't necessarily have to, be that. What I was just saying was that as I saw capital letter here, I expected or assumed that I was going to see that all components would start with a capital letter. That's the first thing that came to my mind, right?
Okay.
So it now felt like I was seeing, something different. Where did I see that now? So say another example. This is now like camel casing. So you are switching, capital letter here one here, it's camel casing one here, right? I don't think it should be that. It should be consistent. There's something here now when you're using capital letter here. It is not like that. If you want to use camel casing, use camel casing for all your naming conventions. If you want to use small letters, use small letters. If you want to separate words by using dash or hyphenated to hyphen everything, you could go for that. So that's also something I want to point out. Where were we? Redux features, range slice. Okay. Yeah, I remember last time you said you had issues. I don't know if you were inputting all of the SVG here. Was that what you were doing?
I was trying to take in the path? Yeah, the whole path of SVG.
Okay. So I think this works. Yeah, there's nothing. We're not doing it. We've not gone full blown into Redux actually. We're just because like two people complained about not being able to completely read stuff from Redux. So that's one other reason why I gave this, so that we could get that right. So can you see you're using capital letter L here, you're using small letter T here, right? It should be consistent across board. Okay, please take note of that. It's important for you. So yeah, aside from that, I don't think there's any other thing. Assets. Okay, just leave that for now. Where are your SVG components? I can't find them here.
Public folder.
Okay, that works. Okay, this works.
There's a time I placed them in my assets folder and Vassal could not pick them up. So.
Okay. I've forgotten the explanation for that. There's a way to actually read that stuff. So there are two ways to actually read this SVG. You could actually write SVG components in React and use it directly, but we're not going to go into that. If someone raise up a hand or something. Okay, this is, anyways, is there any other thing you'd like me to point out here? Ivy?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
What chat do you use for this?
Sorry, chat for that?
Yeah,
it was also an SVG.
Okay, so you just basically inputted the SVGs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, please try to use a chat in library to do that.
For this one in particular, we need to have like values for this chat.
Yeah, so okay, so let's go over this. Examples. Let me see what's available. Okay, so we have read chats. Examples. There is basically like this here. All these examples, is that what you mean? Yeah.
Like from the Figma, I don't think we can really tell the.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to get the exact examples. You just have to get a chart, right? That's there, so that you know that okay, we can manipulate these values later. Let me see if I can get to this. No, not this. Okay, this guy's documentation side, is it live? It's not live, so we're not going to use them because they happened. Let me see. A year ago. Nope. React Chat 2.js. I think there's something called Nivo Chat. React. Yep. Okay. I think what we're looking for is an area chat. Give me a minute. React area chat. Apex chats. Okay. Read chats. Yeah, something like this. Spline area. Okay, this one is a line chat. You should be able to get spline type. So you can style these ones. Okay, let this. It's not loading actually. Let me reload this. This is still here's an area chat, but we need more flowy lines. Okay, so let's look at what were we looking at before. Was it this year? So basically using the spline from Apex chats should get you the job done. So okay, these guys are using what's it called, class-based components. You should, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with class-based components. Class-based components, they are not actively used now because what you could do with class-based components, you can basically do them with functional components nowadays. So there's really no use, from my perspective, to use class-based components for most of the use cases. Your everyday use case, there's probably no use to use class-based components. But if you're going to use this, you're probably going to have to maybe use this like this or convert this to a class-based component. That's not as hard as you think. Instead of saying class, Apex Chat extends this. You're basically just doing your function and the function name. You don't need the constructor. This is basically your use states, right? This is basically the props, how you do your props in your functional component. These are default values for your use states, and basically just returning that. Instead of this.states, you would have a variable name for your states. Then you put that here, you put that here, and you're done. So it's not as heavy basically this one as you think. So you could use this Apex chats. They should have a React variant of this Apex chat actually. So you check that out. Then these read chats. Let me see. So okay, there is another one, chat cn components. I don't know if they have a spline chat actually. Blocks, teams. This is a chat. Let me see blocks very well. Okay, let me see this. Okay, examples. No, there's a place where they put all the chats actually. They actually keep here. So this is what we're looking for. They're using read chats. Read chat is where we're just coming from, right? Here. So basically just using this guy's work. So we can search for area chats and see how they're using it here. So I think you guys should look into this, and this should help you out. How they're using read chats, or basically just if you want to implement this into your project. I think you guys should go around this documentation for a while and see what's available, see what's possible. There's a whole lot of chat variations that can be used that can make your dashboard look, oh my god, this thing looks so pretty, right? Let me change the colors here. So these bar charts that Sheila was trying to work on here, they basically have something like that here. I can click on view code and I can see, let me go out a bit, and I can see how basically implemented that. They have a chart data, you know, and they have their labels and everything. So yeah, you could check this out. I'll be pasting this in the chat here, so we could see how it is. But anywho, does anybody else have any question? I think we should go through these things I've shared. Does anybody else have any question for me? Nobody? All right, I think we can call it a day.